I'd now like to welcome Ms. Desireé Jones-Matthias from the Nova Scotia Justice Institute for her to also provide some remarks to you as well.
Thank you. Good evening, all, and a special welcome to our guests of honor tonight, the article clerks, almost soon to be called to the bar. My name is Desireé Jones-Matthias. As mentioned, I'm a staff lawyer at the Nova Scotian Justice Institute. This evening, I'm honored to have been invited to make some remarks on behalf of the Institute at this celebratory event. For those that have not heard of us, the Institute is mandated to address issues of systemic racism in the justice system that negatively impact African Nova Scotians, and we focus on ensuring fair, legal, and constitutional treatment of all African Nova Scotians and all people of African descent. Under our legal pillar, we have a full criminal defense practice. We also carry human rights files, assist with policing complaints, and with other quasi-legal issues to fill access to justice gaps that we see out in the community. From the start, we've had a very ambitious vision and many programs and services that we want to build. Next on our radar is the development of a family law services division. I was asked to give remarks today that speak to how the work that we are doing at the Institute, although with a very specific mandate focused on remedying the struggles that Black folks in Nova Scotia face, how that work can actually contribute to the fight for equality of all racialized people. Some time ago, as Mark had mentioned, this province was not as diverse as it is today. Now the makeup of Nova Scotia is evolving. We are more diverse, and protecting the rights of racial minorities is more urgent than ever before. The COVID-19 pandemic has shown us this. We see examples of racial bias, hate crimes, and anti-immigrant sentiments, all which reminds us that racism is a deeply embedded part of Canadian history. It impacts all of us, although experienced differently, sometimes for different groups. For Black and Indigenous peoples, the colonialism and the historical context of racism sets the stage for devastating outcomes for us as groups, such as mass incarceration, overrepresentation in the criminal legal system, and in the child welfare system. These continue to be significant problems. It's the context of these problems that inspired the Gladue report, which I'm sure many are familiar with here, to put into perspective for the judge how colonialism and racism has contributed to someone's involvement in a crime. The Mi'kmaq community is to be credited for the work they have done towards Indigenous emancipation and bringing their worldview into a court system that was built to disregard them as people. The Black community became familiar with Gladue reports and were inspired. Gladue reports brought awareness that no such resource existed for Black people in the criminal court system in light of their overrepresentation and experience of systemic racism. The development of impact of race and culture assessments were then born, and now we are using and refining this tool at the Institute to work towards the emancipation of Black people. The message that I want to send is that the work doesn't end here. People of all races can be inspired by the work of the Indigenous and Black communities because it makes our legal system more equitable for everyone when the courts take notice of social context evidence, for example. This was seen to be true by an example in BC in the Court of Appeal in 2022, where a sentencing judge said that the use of social context evidence could also be useful to inform the court about the realities of substance abuse disorder. The African Nova Scotian Justice Institute hopes to lead and inspire other racialized communities to develop your own tools towards your emancipation of your own people and to address the various forms of racism that we all experience. The Indigenous community created space for us. We are creating space for you all, and it's on all of us to take up space that is provided to us. We used to be excluded from this profession, and look at all of you now and our colleagues in this room, because we're here taking up space in the profession because we deserve to be here, and our presence, your presence, makes the profession better than it was. So congratulations to all of you on this milestone. We couldn't be prouder to have you join the profession with us, so walk with your head high when you go and take your oath at the end of the week. Thank you.